Well, hi folks, I'm out again. Exactly a month after my last trip. 17th of December was my last trip, and obviously we've had Christmas in between times, and for those of you who sort of follow my channel, you will know that I picked up a bug after Christmas, which I think was flu, although I've had the flu jab like most people, but it sort of knocked me over a bit. I had a terrible cough, and take me a while to get over it. I'm still not completely over it, and you could argue that coming out on a day like this, I think it's about 6 degrees today and a bit damp, isn't the best thing to do, but I was getting a bit fed up with being stuck at home. So anyway, I've come back to Horton on the Trout stream. Back in November I had a real cracking day on this stream. I had 4 chub. I say a cracking day, it was a session really. It's only about 3 hours and I had 4 chub out, including a personal best for this stream. So I don't expect to repeat that today. If I get 1 chub I'll be more than happy. The stream's carrying quite a bit more water when I fished it than when I fished it last time. It's had another flush through, of course. We had lots of rain and the rivers were all up again, almost unfishable. Well, actually totally unfishable. And then of course we had an Arctic period, a few days of absolutely freezing weather. So it's not the best, and certainly following people on Facebook, a lot of people were blanking and not doing very well. So as I say, if I get 1 fish today I'll be more than pleased. I'm going to do what I did last time basically. I'm starting at the same spot and I'm just going to try a few spots, perhaps 10 minutes, 15 minutes in each spot, and see how we go. And I'm not going to stay too long because I've got to be a bit careful really. As I say, going out on a day like this after a respiratory problem is probably not a good idea. Anyway, enough chatting, I'll get started, okay? Let's see how we do. Okay, as I said, I'm starting in a sort of favourite little spot. One observation immediately is, by the way this bank's been trodden down, this little spot's been pretty well fished since the last time I was here. I still had to sort of work my way through some undergrowth last time, but not today. So we'll see what happens. In fact, I noticed as I was walking down, I'm about halfway along the stretch here, and what I'll do is I'll work my way down towards the end of the stretch and then work my way back up to the beginning. That's what I did last time. Yeah, as I was saying, as I worked my way down here, about halfway down, there were a number of spots that weren't identifiable as fishable last time I was here, but they are now. So I think people have been fishing it. That may be because of me, of course. You never know. Anyway, we'll try down under that tree, which has always worked. Well, no, it doesn't always work. That would be an exaggeration, but it often works. Let's squeeze a bit more water out of that. Come on, sink, 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 sink. Yeah, okay. Let's see what happens. The last time I fished here, if you watch that video, I got a bite almost immediately. As I say, I'll give it 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we'll move on. With more water coming down, the fish may have relocated. It's moving quite fast now down under that tree. The one thing you can guarantee with fishing is what happened last time won't happen the next time. I've bought some cheese paste which might sort of work if the bread flake doesn't. Certainly no immediate takers there, are there? We'll give it a while. I actually took 2 out of this swim last time. If you watched the video, I took 1 out when I arrived, and I dipped in again on my return walk back up the stream, and took another 1 out, which I'd never done before on this stream. 2 out of 1 spot. But it looks like today it will be less than 2, in fact 0. Nah. Well, one more attempt here. I'm going to cast out as far on the outside of the tree and let it roll round. That's going to be my last attempt, and now I'm going to move on. It's interesting, the chap from St Ives Tackle put a short video on a little while ago on their channel, fishing for chub on small streams, and at first I didn't recognise it as this stream, and when I went in the shop last time I actually said to him, "Where were you fishing?" Didn't recognise the stream, and he said, "Oh, it was the trout stream." I said, "Crikey, I didn't recognise it." He said, "Well, there's a lot more water in it," and in fact he didn't do any good at all. And one of the shots, I swear it might have been this spot, because those weeds sort of down there on my left, it looked very much like this spot. So perhaps when it's a bit up like this, it's not so good. Right, I'm going to have one more cast. The bread's come off again, but that won't hurt. And then I'm going to move on. Well, anyway, if you're wondering about these little squares of bread, some while ago in the summer, someone commented on one of my videos and suggested this. I've mentioned it before, but he suggested, rather than pulling bits of bread out of the middle of a slice of bread, you waste a lot less if you trim the crusts off beforehand and cut them up into little squares like this, and then keep them in a airtight bag or an airtight box. And I've done it ever since, and it really works well. Don't waste. I used to end up with sort of slices of bread with the middle gouged out, but quite a lot of useful bread around the outside. But no, that's too far, isn't it? Whoa. Let's get you round a bit. There we go. Now let's just let you sink down. Take some line out. Let's see what happens, shall we? So we must be well down under those trailing branches now. I think we're casting out in the middle now. I don't quite know how much weed there is. Oh, that could have been a bite. Certainly the top moved, but it won't. Yeah. It's not really chubby though. Oh, it is chubby. Oh, crikey. And it's big chubby by feel of it. I don't know, or it's just the flow. Oh, gee. Oh, crikey. I'm not sure I'm going to get this one in. I don't know where it's gone there. Oh dear. I think it's got me snagged. It's not moving at all. That's a pity. We finally hooked something. Let's try hand lining. It's always the last straw, isn't it, really? I don't know what's down there in the way of snags, to be honest. There's so many snags behind me as well. Oh, I've broken the top of my rod now. That was stupid, wasn't it? Nah, it's snagged. And I've lost the top of my rod. And that's it's a disappointing thing. Not a good start to the day. Where did the top go off that rod? I don't want to lose it. Oh, it's come off, innit? Fell down there, I've lost it. Well, that was a pretty eventful start to the day, wasn't it? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That really did feel like a really big fish. I mean, say the power in that fish was... But it snagged me. There's something really solid down there. I lost everything down to the bottom. I lost the weight, the hook, everything. I was snagged. I wasn't in the fish anymore. I was just totally snagged. And as you saw, I managed to break the top of the rod. That's the second time I've done that when I've been hand lining, which is really annoying. But fortunately, on this occasion, it's only lost. There was a little green end to the rod, sort of a quiver tip green, you know, and. It's literally just the last half inch. I lost the eye. It fell off the line. That's what happened with the other time I broke the bloody rod. The eye fell off and fell in the river, and it did this time. So I've got to buy an eye, but I think, and I have got another top for that rod actually. It came with two tops, but it's not quite as sensitive as the one I'm using at the moment. But at least I've got another top if the worst comes to the worst. But I'm sure I can buy another small eye like that, and I can whip it on, and it really won't affect the rod that much because it's such a fine tip that half inch off the top ain't going to make a lot of difference. But I've now got a fish with half inch of rod missing. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, well, what a start. That really did feel, that really went when I first hooked it, and unfortunately that was the end of it really. But there we go. That's what it's all about. So let's see what happens next. Gee whiz. Okay. I'm going to have to do a bit of voiceover at this point because fortunately I had my camcorder set up behind me, but my GoPro camera, I switched it on, but I forgot to start the video. So what you're seeing at the moment is me nattering away to you into the GoPro, which you can't hear because the mic on my camcorder was too far away. And basically I've moved swim, and I'm casting down into what is quite a wide glide. It's a swim I've fished before, and I have caught a chub from there before, and on this occasion I was hopeful that I may repeat that. I'm just sort of setting up at the moment, putting the bait on and what have you. And there is a fairly fast flow down the right hand side as it comes off the bend, and to the left it's fairly slack, so the idea was to cast down sort of the centre and try to get on the edge of that faster flow and the slack. In fact, I think the cast went a little bit more towards the slack. So what I'm doing now is looking at the rod top, because the problem was, having lost the eye, the line kept getting itself hooked around the rod top, so when I tried to cast it didn't happen. And so you'll see sort of from now on, every time I'm making a cast, I'm having to check that the line is free and not looped around the rod top. But anyway, having managed to do that, We're getting ready for the cast now. I did realise the GoPro wasn't recording when it started bleeping at me because it actually turned itself off, which it does if you are not recording, just to save the battery. You can see the cast there. It's a little bit more to the left than I'd expected, but that's where it ended up. Anyway, the GoPro had turned itself off, and you'll see in a minute what happens. But basically, when I heard the bleeps that the GoPro had turned itself off, I realised at that point that I wasn't recording anything, video or audio, through the GoPro. So if you just hang on a minute, you'll see what happens. I'm sort of muttering to myself here probably. I think that might be a bite. But I'm not sure exactly when that happened, but we'll see. Okay, start recording. GoPro, start recording. Well, I'm sorry, I forgot to switch the bloody camera on. So I've been chatting away to you, but the net result is I did get a bite here. I've got my video camera behind. Bloody, this is going in here now. They always do, don't they? Yeah. Aye. There we go. Oh. Yeah, sorry about that. You missed the bite. Well, you missed the bite on this camera because I didn't bloody switch it on. I'm all of a tizzy today, really, after all that action before. Anyway, it's a nice chub, so we've got a fish. Amazing. Hook's coming out, and it's at risk of getting caught in the fish's tail, so we'll get rid of that for a start. Well, even though I was missing the top eye, I managed to see that bite. Let's get you in the stream, you can get some oxygen. Okay, you seem all right now. Right, I was just fishing down there, downstream of me, but I spotted this spot when I walked past it, and it looks interesting. If I can get down on that slack there on the inside of the bend, it's pretty hostile. If I hook anything, it's going to be a bit of a gamble, I suppose. And this bit's been underwater recently. I'm standing in pretty soft mud, so. Trouble is, I can't really cast very accurately with this rod at the moment. Keeps catching up. A bit of a bore really. It's my own fault. I have to keep untangling the top. Oh. The line keeps sort of going around the top and locking, you know. I just have one cast here. I'm not gonna stay too long here. It looks a bit difficult. Holding the rod, which isn't that clever. Hello, Mr. Swan. Got nothing for you. I really need this rod to be a bit more stable than this. It's wobbling all over the place. No, I don't think I'll bother here. It's a bit too dicey. I've already had enough accidents today. I want another one. What do you want, Swan? They're getting a bit naughty with me, aren't you? I think they nest in this. Actually, in the summer, I've seen nests here. It's probably his nesting spot, and he's not very happy that I'm fishing here. I'll give you one bit of bread, and that's all you're getting. One bit of bread. Okay? Gosh, yeah, I'm sinking in mud here. Glad to get out of here. This swan isn't really wanting to take no for an answer. Oh, now he's getting angry. God, Jesus. There you go. What about Mrs. Swan? Is that Mrs. Swan out there? Hey. Oh, you little bugger. I'm not giving you any more. I'm not giving you... No, that's it. You've had it. I need it for me fishing. Well, I'm at the spot where I caught the biggest chub last time, but it's changed significantly. When I was here last time, there was a raft extending from the near side bank to about a third of the way into the river, all the way down to the trees. But on the far side of the river there was a clear run, and I cast into that clear run and I hooked the fish, and of course it immediately went into the raft on the near side, and that was one heck of a job to get it out. Today is entirely different, as you can see, because we now have, with all the recent flood, we have a massive raft which is almost damming. Well, it's not damming obviously because it's only on the surface, but it's right across. So I may try a cast near the front of that raft, and there's still a risk that if I get a decent fish it's going to go into this reed bank, this dying reed bank here, but we'll give it a go. It's certainly not as difficult as it was before, but it isn't easy, so we'll give it a go. The swans followed me up here, but having got nothing to eat they've vanished, so that's good news. There's only danger of encouraging these little critters, or big critters in fact. They won't leave here alone. Right, where are we? Yeah. Tangled at the top again, so I'll have to sort that out. That's pretty good considering how difficult it is to judge the casting at the moment with this rod top missing. There's a bit of movement on the rod top, but I think that's possibly just the shot moving around with the flow. As I say, the couple of bites I've had up to now haven't been very positive. They've just been a series of taps, and it's a bit difficult to know when to strike. Certainly no tip benders. It's turned out quite a nice day today, really. I mean, so the conditions are ideal for fishing. Obviously it's overcast, very, very little wind, and although it's cold, the lack of a wind, it feels sort of warmer than it would do if we had a wind cutting across. As I say, where I cast last time was what is now a raft. I think there's one more spot now downstream if we get nothing here, and then I'll make my way back towards the beginning and see if we can pick up a couple in some of the swims that I walked past on the way. Did I say pick up a couple? No, I must be joking. Pick up one chub if I'm lucky, actually. The thing with fishing these streams is it's a matter of finding the fish. If they're there, and if you don't spook them, you usually get them to bite, but you really don't know if you're fishing where they are. And with every flood and change of level and everything, things can change. So what works on one occasion don't necessarily work next time. I mean, so when I fished this last time, I had an immediate bite on the first cast, which I missed. And then I caught that lovely chub on the second cast, and the bite again was almost immediate. Whereas this time there's nothing immediate happening. I'll give it another 5 or 10 minutes and still a bit sad about breaking the top off my rod. It's been a faithful rod for years. The trouble with hand lying is you've got to get the rod back, and if you're standing in all this bloody undergrowth, you're trying to push it back, and what I should have done was sort of walk back and then walk forward again, but just being lazy. And of course I didn't get it back far enough, so as I was pulling on the line I was putting stress on the rod top, and you saw what happened. But as I say, it's literally probably not much more than half an inch, and it's still a pretty sensitive top. So if I can find a nice small eye to put on, which I'm sure I can because the internet is full of such things, I'll be back in business. And as I said earlier, I have got another top for this, but it's a little bit thicker. Not a lot, but it's nowhere near as well. It's not as sensitive. I don't say nowhere near as sensitive. Probably be all right for when the chub are bending rod tops around, but not so much in these conditions. Anyway, I think I'll move on, because I think if there was anything down there, it would have let me know by now. So we'll have a move. Well, this is about as far as I'm going to go downstream. There are other spots down there, but a bit dicey. This always looks inviting, this spot, but I've never caught anything here, so perhaps today we'll make a change. Go away, swan. As I say, I don't usually catch anything here. If you're going to be sitting here, it's going to make it even less likely. See the bread on the end of the hook, can't you? You think, oh, I'll have some of that. Blimey, sunshine, autumn sun, well not autumn sunshine, winter sunshine. But it looks very autumny with all the browns. Yeah, it's pretty glorious now, isn't it? After that very I think that bread was almost floating on the surface, so I don't know what happened there. I obviously was in a very turbulent section. Doesn't seem anything calm here, that's the trouble, it's all sort of turbulent. I'll have one more cast down a bit further and see what happens. And then I'm going to have the longish walk back to the top of the stretch and fish a few spots there before packing up. I've never caught from this swim. Most of the swims I fished today, in fact all of them, I have caught before. But I've tried this swim on numerous occasions and I've never caught. So I'm not sure why. I'll give it another 5 minutes or so and it's a bit of a long hike back to the top of the stretch. I'm afraid age is catching up with me. I find it a bit challenging these days. Plus the fact I'm getting over my flu or whatever it was. So it's a bit of a shake. I decided to stop halfway. Conveniently there's a little bench here, which isn't here for anglers obviously, but so I'll sit here and watch the river go by while I have a cup of coffee. Just get my breath back. Yeah, age is very unforgiving, isn't it? It's interesting, I've mentioned before, I sort of follow Instagram and Facebook, angling posts, you know. And there was a guy on Instagram saying he thinks this will be his last river season, it's just getting too much. I know what he means. It's all a bit of a struggle really. However light you sort of make the tackle, and I travel pretty light, but even so, I call this the dog spot. You probably can't see, but there are an awful lot of dog footprints on the deck. It's where all the dogs come to have a swim. Well, I was nattering away, and as before I forgot to start the video, but then the GoPro battery expired, so I had to put a power pack in. So, oh no, this rod keeps twisting up, doesn't it? It's making it so difficult. That's basically what happened when I forgot to switch the video on, so you missed it the first time, but you got it the second time. Yeah, because there's no top eye, what keeps happening is the line. It's only a very short section of rod, what is that, about an inch and a quarter between the last eye and the end of the rod, and the line keeps looping over it, and you can't see it because it's so fine, and then when you cast nothing happens. So anyway, we're in the last swim, so we can just make do here. We shall be alright. That's more like it. I wanted to be over there last time. Not that you saw the last cast because I didn't have the video on. I think what I was saying before, obviously this is the last spot I'm going to fish. Well, not obviously, but that's what I said before. It's at the top of the stretch. I'm only about 100 yards from the exit, and it's been kind to me in the past, this spot. I haven't always caught here, but on a couple of occasions, as I've been making my way back to the end of the stretch, or the start of the stretch in fact, it's thrown up a fish. It did last time I was here. It was a nice fish, over 3 pounds, but it doesn't fish as well when the water's heavy like this, so I'm not really sure it's gonna give up anything today, but yeah, I'll have a little 15-20 minute session here just to build up my strength to walk back to the car, which is about another 20 minutes walk. So yeah, it's been an interesting day. I still can't get over that first fish. It felt like a bloody enormous. It didn't. I assume it was a chub. It must have been a chub, but blimey, oh boy, it just felt like a massive lump on the end of the line. We'll never know, will we? It found something under that tree, a snag that I've caught a number of chub from under that tree, and they've never found that snag before. But that one was so powerful that it could find anything it liked, I think. Quite a sort of, as I said before, eventful start to the day. Large fish, lost fish, broken rod. Yeah. Very peaceful here. It's a public footpath, but it's a fair long walk. Oh, that may have been a bite. It's a fair long walk from where you park the car to get down to here. So it's only the keen here. That is definitely a bite. Oh, missed it. Oh, I can't afford to miss them. Yeah, it's quite a long walk to get down here, so it's only keen people who walk this far with their dogs. So you don't get a lot of pedestrian traffic. Well, that was good. That was definitely a bite. There was no two ways about that. But whether that spooked him, pulling it out of his mouth, who knows. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up, but there's a lovely sort of trickle of water, the noise of trickling water, and that's about the only noise that you can hear, which is lovely. A bit like being by a mountain stream. A bit annoyed I missed that bite. You don't get a lot of chances here. You need to hook what you can, because was very much like the first two bites I had, the one I lost and the one after it that I managed to hook. Just a few small taps. As I say, nothing like a tip bender. No, I don't think I'm going to get another bite here, unfortunately. It's about 4 minutes to 2, so I think I'll accept defeat at this point. Well, not defeat, but accept that I'm not going to get a fish here. I shouldn't have missed that bite. That was my last chance, I think, today. Usually they, in that case, the bite was soon after I cast, and in the other two cases when I've had bites of the fish or lost fish and a fish, they were fairly quick after I cast, provided you get the bait in the right spot and the fish is there and you haven't spooked it. But I think I must have spooked whatever was down there, unfortunately. So I think I'll pack up. So why am I speaking to you from home? Well, there's a story. Anyway, I did do a sign off on the bank yesterday, but unfortunately I obviously didn't press the video start button, because when I got home I didn't have any video. That followed on a couple of occasions on the day when I forgot to start the GoPro, so didn't have a very good video day, did I really? Anyway, fortunately I'd taken my little Panasonic camcorder with me, and I took it really to provide some alternative footage rather than having the point of view footage you get from the GoPro, which you see things as I see them. I thought it'd be good to add some footage of me, sort of picture of me from the side, if you like, if you can put it that way. Anyway, that was the reason I took it, but it turned out it was quite useful to have that footage, because I did catch a chub, and I hadn't switched on the GoPro, but the Panasonic caught the action, so that worked quite well really. And I'd be interested in your comments about adding additional footage to the videos, because normally mine are all sort of point of view, but any comments on that would be welcome. Yeah, the session started sort of in a way very well. I hooked into a really good fish. It felt like a sack of coal on the end of the line, but it really was. Anyway, it snagged me almost immediately and I couldn't clear it, and then in trying to hand line, I broke the top of the rod, so it started well and then went downhill fairly rapidly after that. But anyway, I managed to carry on. I'd lost about an inch or so at the top of the rod. Fortunately, it's a very, very narrow carbon top. It's not a fiberglass squiver, it's carbon, and I should be able to get another eye on, and I've ordered one, so it shouldn't affect the rod too much. Just a bit disappointing, but after that it proved a bit difficult fishing at times, because the line kept snagging around the end of the sort of projecting end of the rod that didn't have an eye on it, so that was a bit tricky. But anyway, we plodded on. I managed to get a fish out, as I say, which was great, and there was the possibility of, I did miss a bite in the last spot I fished. There was a possibility of perhaps a second one, but that wasn't to be. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed it. The weather wasn't quite as bitter as I expected, and I was sort of recovering from flu, and I sort of weathered that quite well. So all in all, it was quite a good day. So as usual, thanks for watching, and thank you to the subscribers, and anybody who would like to give me a like, that would be very grateful. And I'm always interested in comments, of course. So until the next time, wherever that may be, maybe the chub stream, I'll say bye for now and cheers.